Good day, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our Creating Customers Business Coaching webinar. We'll explore how CEOs and executive leadership teams can maximize the customer life cycle through a systematic approach to help drive improved organizational success. This webinar is going to be about half an hour today. As the famous Peter Drucker stated, the purpose of a company is to create a customer. The only profit center is the customer. So can we really create customers? Well, some may say no. I would suggest yes. By getting clear on important customer questions, you're focusing your efforts on those who will help grow your business. So that's me, the founder and CEO of Agile Work Solutions. I work as an Agile growth coach to guide CEOs, executive directors, and executive leadership teams in identifying their barriers, working to build and implement a roadmap through a proven, practical, and profitable approach for growth. In essence, we transform business through people by helping to simplify the complex with a focus on the 7 attributes of agile growth. And some of the clients I work with are chief executive officers, executive directors, boards, executive leadership teams, entrepreneurs and founders, small, medium enterprises, and even community organizations. So what are the 7 attributes of agile growth? Well, it's a strategic business growth framework that addresses every aspect of business operations, yet it's designed to incorporate outside content, tools, and principles. So if you think of it as an open operating system rather than a closed one, it never stops evolving. Too often we're seeing CEOs and leadership teams lack discipline and a culture of accountability. And as a result, they don't commit to the consistent application of a proven framework for growth. Put simply, they're failing because they've failed to commit. Well, the 7 attributes of agile growth is a more disciplined approach and powered by a proven, comprehensive, yet adaptable framework for growth. We know from research that those who select the right framework outperform their competitors, and not only that, their CEOs are more confident and they're productive. As a result, they're able to build award-winning companies and greater personal wealth. A true strategic growth framework is agile, it's comprehensive, and it remains consistent through time. Instead of a passing fad, it serves as a foundation within which new content, research, and tools can be integrated harmoniously. So the 7 attributes of agile growth, and here they are: leadership, talent, strategy, execution, customer, profit, and systems. Today, we're going to go into the customer attribute. This is a bit of a metaphor for the 7 attributes of growth framework. Think about building a home. After the foundation's laid, the frame of the home sets the basic structure of the home and will include the appropriate rooms to make the house a home. A family room, kitchen, dining room, bedrooms, bathroom, laundry room, and office, for example. Each room is carefully framed in, and the home would be incomplete without each room. Once framed, each family that lives in the home for years and decades to come may change the colors, the decorations, and the furniture. But the basic 7 rooms remain well framed and the core of the home's benefit to the family. And so it is with the 7 attributes. Each is vital to any company's growth, from startup to full maturity. And through time, various tools, service providers, and content can be added and modified. But the basic framework remains intact and holds the home, if you want, together. So the framework is agile, it's scalable, and comprehensive. And when we talk about agile, we mean it's continuous evaluation, course correction, and alignment to outpace your competitor's strategy, execution, and profits. And it's scalable. It's a framework with tools and advisors that can help a startup scale all the way to successful IPO or exit. And it's comprehensive. It includes current and evolving thought leadership, practical tools, and expert advisors in the key areas of the attributes. The growth process, is somewhat easy and speedy. You build an annual plan. We call it a growth roadmap with your leadership team. That's usually where we start, and then look to learn and employ the 7 attributes tools continuously. And finally, assess the progress frequently on a regular interval when market conditions change or when a new opportunity or adversary comes calling. Let's face it, every company has a business plan, The question is whether they have intentionally and proactively planned it out as a team, or somewhere between sort of winging it and having it well documented and current. This is an example of what the growth roadmap looks like. Today, we're going to give you the gift of a powerful tool to help you with your customer. All our tools are simple, one page, and easy to understand. They're practical. They include learning, instructions, and discussion how to apply to your business. And they're actionable. They require the discussion and application to the specifics of your business. Let's start with a couple questions to get you thinking here. Reflect and engage in this topic for a moment. If you have a piece of paper and a notepad handy, pull it out and jot down a couple notes here. Do you know so clearly who your core customer is that you can describe them like a picture? Think of a photograph. What does that core customer look like? Jot down a couple words for that. What word did you just use to describe them? Be clear and specific about it. We're going to move on to our second question here. What is the best way to grow any business? It's not a trick question. What's the best way to grow any business? Again, make a note of that, what you think that is. Keep in mind, we're talking about customers today. Okay, we're going to move on because we have some limited time today. So let's take a look at the customer attribute and briefly highlight some aspects of it. Does your customer life cycle drive revenue growth? How well-defined, documented, and systematized and measured is your end-to-end customer life cycle? What do you think the key components in the customer life cycle are? It's a great question to ask as your leadership team to start exploring this topic. An organization that's agile and can scale successfully has carefully crafted and systematized their customer life cycle so that existing customers are well satisfied and generating referrals for business growth. So here's 5 key activities that when they're complete, ensure that your customer life cycle is systematized with a clear promise and core customer. Now, each of these activities, listed in the boxes here as supporting activities underneath this customer attribute corresponds to a specific tool or tools that can be used to ensure it's addressed, applied, and optimized. And the first one we talk about is identify your ideal core customer profile. Next, build a brand and story that prompts action by your core customers. Third, leverage content generation to be visible in the market, attracting customers and attention in the marketplace. And fourth, we want to define and systematize the acquisition to referral life cycle for customers that is defined and it's optimized. And lastly, ensure your customer experience is industry leading and your business results demonstrate this. So what's the best way to grow any business? This sounds familiar because we asked this a moment ago. Write it down if you haven't already done that. What is a common pattern or principle? Well, delight customers is the core principle. They will tell, refer, and promote your brand, products, and experience to others they know and they can influence. Delighting customers have key elements that are necessary to build carefully. Let's look at some key questions that will help us determine how to create delighted customers. We know delighted customers drive profitable growth. It's a simple truth in business. What are some of the key elements to build a delighted customer following? Well, here's a few questions that can help guide us through this question. Who is your core customer? Sounds simple, but it's not. Usually takes a fair bit of work to get that, to find out what that core customer is. What is your customer's problem to solve and the brand promise you make to solve it? What is your business providing? Do you have a content strategy to help create awareness, credibility, and trust? Does their customer experience elicit emotional advocacy? What is your customer life cycle? And have you optimized it? So for today's webinar, with limited time, we'll focus mostly on the core customer. In future webinars, we'll explore and discuss these other supporting activities in more depth. Well, John Jantsch is the author of Duct Tape Marketing, and he wisely views the customer life cycle through the professional lens of the marketing life cycle, which he refers to as the marketing hourglass, as shown here in the picture as an hourglass. Well, John cares deeply about clarity with customers, and his customer life cycle paradigm, there are 7 key stages. First, your business must be known by your ideal customer prospects. Second, your prospective ideal customers must like you. Third, you must build trust with your customers. At the right time, they will try your products and services. If they have a good experience of value, they will then buy from you. As their experience of value and service continues to be positive, they will repeat their purchases. If they continue to receive strong value, service, and their experience is wonderful, they'll refer you to others. Well, this customer life cycle becomes a virtuous cycle or circle of business development as the best way to create and leverage delighted customers to grow your business and your profit and your success. Now let's define some of the key elements in the life cycle and customer journey a little more. It's a great book, John Jantsch has here, and highly recommend reading it. He's a thought leader in our Gravitas Premium Coaching community, and as an author and advisor and forward thinker. In addition, our premium coaching community is taught by our most successful peer coaches who deeply understand the client experience and how to catalyze growth and change within a client's culture and business operations. Well, the combination of thought leaders and seasoned coaches ensure that our clients have the best of the best in their mid-market growth journey to success. A great marketing strategy is a clear explanation of how you're going to get there, not where or what there is. Here's another wonderful author book and a thought leader. Bob Bloom's the author of The Inside Advantage, and he teaches coaches to help keep us sharp and on the cutting edge of growth company content tools. And he says the easiest and most profitable growth will be achieved by adding additional customers, very much like your current most valuable customer. In Bob's book and workshops, he's got a 4-step process that's repeatable and it's simple to help clients determine their core customer. And this process includes determining your who as your core customer. Get beyond demographics, customer needs, and desires evolve much more rapidly than most business people seem to perceive. Second, what? The what is, what are you selling? And how you position and sell it. And fourth, what he calls imaginative acts. Those are the special activities that differentiate and make your process successful. The end outcome is a simple 1-page statement encompassing the 4 items above. Simple, but compelling and elegant. The question here is your who clear? You must think of your customer, your potential customer, in the singular as one living and breathing person. It must be a person you can get to know and develop a closer relationship with. It's very helpful to form a mental picture of your customer you're trying to sell to. You don't sell your product or service to a demographic. I'll repeat that. A lot of people continue to believe selling to the demographic. You don't sell your product or service to a demographic. You must clearly identify the customer who purchases. Who is the core customer most likely to buy your product or service in the quantity required for optimal profit? Well, here's an example I'm going to take a moment to share with you. Lake Truck Lines, they're based in San Antonio, Texas, had a sales strategy that was similar to many companies, and it might be similar to yours. Go after the big fish, the big money, and take any other clients, that may come along as well. Well, in this case, their big client and a big percentage of the business had just decided to go elsewhere. What were they to do? They lost their biggest client, big piece of their revenue. Well, around this time, they were reviewing sort of what call their sandbox, or where they do business in their area, what that looks like, and their core customer, their who. And they discovered that their ideal customer for their fast-growing oil field services company was organizations similar to theirs, ones that were honest, dependable, and asset-driven, who have skin in the game, are predominantly local, and with revenues between 50 and 500 million. That's how they defined it. So with this clarity about who their customer really was, and a strategic game plan that they call Battle Green, they were able to bring in enough new business in a matter of weeks to offset that big loss. And once they started targeting the right customer, the mutual fit of customer needs and their services enabled them to avoid a potentially catastrophic downturn in a highly competitive and commoditized industry. Now, does this mean they no longer seek relationships with the big fish? Well, not at all. These types of customers were still an important clientele, but for Lake Truck Lines, had now positioned themselves properly in the grand scheme of their business. So they're no longer beholden or relied overly on that one large customer. And that big fish that went elsewhere, well, they came back, realizing that the service and professionalism that Lake Truck Lines offered were the key differentiators in their commoditized world. Do you know who your core customer is? How could knowing who they help reinvent your business like Lake Truck Lines did? So focus on your core customer, the who in your business, a real individual with a unique identity and set of needs. The more we can bring your core customer to life, the crisper and more focused your brand promise will be. Customer is the most important word in the vocabulary of business. Let's be clear, knowing your core customer right down to the individual, it's not about marketing per se, it's about strategy. So looking at your current customer base, what can we discern from looking at them as a group? So think about your current customer base. What characteristics will help us with future direction and decision making? Thinking about your current customer base, if you were to place them in a simple matrix based on their profitability and their referral capability, their willingness to refer, who would fall in which quadrant? What are the most common characteristics of your most profitable customers that also refer your business to their friend, neighbors, and colleagues? So I've got a piece of paper. Briefly, just think about this. Where do your customers fall? Which three companies or individuals are most profitable for your business? Which three are the least profitable? Which three companies or individuals are most likely to refer you to others? And which three would you never refer you, or you'd not want them to refer you to others? So what do we learn from this? Well, the best customers that you wish to have more of are those that are profitable and will refer you to others. They're the gold of your growth. Let's look at the 5 key attributes of a core customer. Well, your core customer will make purchases of your product at the optimal or best price point that generates you profit. Why? because they assign real economic value to what you have to offer, and buying at your price is a positive action for them. You should focus significant resources on your who, your core customer, at the expense of non-core customers, and be selective about this. Identify them in your current customer base. Your who is a real person with wants, needs, and fears. They're not a lifeless profile on paper. They're alive, and just like you and I, they have specific reasons, emotions, and interests in your product. Your core customer has an online identity that can be appealed to via digital media, and they also have specific behaviors that you can learn and appeal to as they are online. This model customer who pays on time, and not only are they loyal to you, but they'll refer others to your company. In fact, let's make it real with an example of our own. So South Shore is a third-generation furniture manufacturer located on the south shore of the St. Lawrence River in Quebec, Canada. SouthShoreFurniture.com if you want to look them up. Well, they sell flat-packed furniture similar to IKEA's model through North American retailers and online, such as Wayfair, Amazon, Staples, Walmart, etc. Each of these channels is a distinctly different target or core customer. If you look at this, Michelle on the left and buys the customer that they design, promote, advertise, package, and sell to. That's your in-store customer. Sarah on the right, who's an online customer, is a very different persona and personality. Well, South Shore caters to each type of customer in very specific and different ways. Over the past few years, Sarah has become more important to South Shore as she increasingly purchases a larger share of their products. In fact, Sarah is so important that South Shore decided to include her in their internal meetings. They dressed a mannequin's torso in the clothes of Sarah wears and placed her in a chair. Sarah sits in all their design, marketing, and sales meetings, ensuring the company always considers this core customer when making decisions. Interesting way to do it. Let's apply Bob Bloom's who concept and make sure you're clear on your core customer. We'll use what you discover, confirm in this exercise to develop your brand promise in a future webinar. For now, we'll take time as a team and think about this again. If you've got a piece of paper, jot down as we go through this. And if you don't have this form yet, we will get you this after the webinar. Remember, your core customer is a real person with wants, fears, and desires that you would like to meet, and they will buy for optimal profit. So let's just take a look at this form here. This is the exercise. And again, this is a great one to walk through with your leadership team. Starting at the top, you've got the attributes of your core customer. Just a reminder, it's real person, optimal profit, identifying their behavior and their online identity, paying on time, and they exist among your customers today. So next, you get each team member on your leadership team to name 5 real ideal customers and describe one ideal characteristic of each of them. And this is really interesting when you do this as a team, because you all come up with different ones and you'll be able to share that, discuss it. And ultimately, as you collaborate as a team through this part, you'll move over and here be able to list your 5 core customer characteristics. What do those look like? As you slowly land on that together as a overall executive team, you'll end up with a description ultimately. And this one I'm just sharing as an example here. Is for this company, which is called Perodata. They're a highly successful leading global payments processor. This is what they kind of came up with, a little more than 10 to 15 words, but still, it's very succinct. And they define it as a man between 40 and 65 years old, most likely married with kids, who has coached a little league and carried a cell phone, and he was stretched for time and loves to sell. They named him, they gave him a name, Peter. And he was part of their reseller channel because the reseller channel was how they went to market. So just briefly, that gives you an idea what sort of that core customer statement looks like. So take this exercise, and this is a good example of one you can do with your leadership team and really help define what your core customer is. So looking at the core customer, just briefly summarizing this, the 5 key supporting activities: identify your ideal core customer, create a clear, compelling, actionable corporate brand. You want to generate content that connects with your core customer. You want a clear documentation of your acquisition to referral process, and have a well thought out customer experience, including logical and emotional experiences in that. Again, future webinars, we're going to look more at some other aspects of this, but today it's really around the core customer. So understand how your customer lifestyle drives revenue growth. Think about the customer lifecycle paradigm. And that's the marketing hourglass, as John and Jantz points out. Think of that diagram. Define your core customer needs, really needs to be your first step. And that's pretty critical, pretty essential. That's where we'd often start. So today, 3 steps to creating customers. Well, define that core customer. Point it down on paper, the most accurate and meaningful description of your core customer. It's not easy, but it can be done. When finished, you must understand and believe every word of what you put down. You must capture the essence of your customer. Second, craft a compelling promise. And what sets your unique offer apart from your competitors? And 3, systemize the customer life cycle. You want existing customers that are well satisfied and generating referrals for your business growth. By creating customers, your leadership team organization is better prepared to make choices and execute their tasks in alignment with your purpose and goals. Well, the customer attribute, along with other attributes to Agile growth, will set you on a journey to improve your business success. Thanks for joining us today. If you need any help with this or other tools I'll be sharing with you in upcoming webinars, give me a call or send me an email, and let's connect. The most important thing you can do right now, take your notes from today and define your core customer with the tool we're providing you within the next 24 hours. If you don't do it then, you probably won't do it. Do it. Let me know how it works out for you. Take care, be safe, and stay agile. Bye for now.